And with that, we're actually going to be leaving Runen for a while. Sorry, boss. Just kind of how I imagine him talking. But boss, we wouldn't have stood a chance against the Knights of Wealth. It's too much for us to handle. Wait, the Knights of Wealth? Surely you jest, they have Luca with them, you can take them easily. And Naren's not with them. I mean, they do still have Lee, so they are definitely outmatched there. I just noticed there's a lighthouse in the background. It's funny, part of me wonders if some of these backgrounds were actually adopted from stock photos, because they look like real places to me. Oh great, yep, not only is Yazam still alive, but he's friends with this guy. We're gonna deal with 2 bandits at once. I guess when the knights are away, the bandits will play, but not if we have anything to say about it. Because it's time for Team Holmes to get into action. At last, we have our second party. The name actually comes from the German word for fairy tale. I'm really not sure why they chose that name for him, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah, there's a running gag about how nobody takes him seriously. Yes, we should pay him a visit involving swords and arrows in his head. Yep, let's hoist the sea lion flag. I don't know if it's like an actual lion that is on the sea, or if it's a sea lion as in the animal. Yep, Yazam is still going. You wouldn't think they just let a generic bandit get away and never let him get his comeuppance. Because if generic bandits start getting ambitions, then, well, that's spoilers for, you know, something. But that was actually kind of interesting what just happened. So, they showed Yazam there in Taurus Caves. That was actually a hint at something, because where we are now with Holmes, we actually have access to the only optional chapter in the game. I'll talk about that later though, because Holmes also has access to Skirmishes. Every time you move on the world map, monsters will spawn in Isora Swamp, and the monsters will usually, and it says question marks here because they are randomized when we enter the map, it is a skirmish. They can contain entombs, so that's very good for training. But during this segment of the game, Isora pirates and bandits from Taurus Caves are going to continue to spawn until we take out their bosses. It is very much like Gaiden, Celica's part of Act 3. In fact, it's almost exactly the same. So you might want to deal with them to stop these reinforcements so you won't have to encounter as many skirmishes. Or you could let the skirmishes keep going and grind them for experience. But it's not important because this is better grinding, honestly. And in fact, I want to show this at least once. But before we go there, we have Holmes' party. Everybody that we sent there from the route split. But we also have Holmes himself, finally under our control. Holmes is a lord, archer, and thief all in one, the last of which is especially useful on his route, as many of his chapters have open all chests as a victory condition. Statistically, Holmes is extremely good, both in terms of base stats and growth rates, and he's a monster on the player phase. He's mainly let down by the fact that he can't do much on the enemy phase, being locked to bows, until promotion that is, but that doesn't come until chapter 29. That said, being bow-locked isn't as horrible in TearRing Saga as it normally would be, as long as you're not Luca, as Holmes can use a lot of useful utility bows like the longbow and the Chukonu either at base or with only a few mastery procs. Before promotion, Holmes acts as a utility unit and a precision assassin of individual enemies, but after promotion he just becomes great all round, apart from being mounted I guess, though that only lasts for the last quarter of the game. Oh, and he also has great supports. So Holmes in general is a really interesting idea for a Lord, and one I really enjoy using. As well as Holmes' second in command, Shigen. And I'm going to hold off on giving Shigen's bio, because there's something about Shigen that I want to demonstrate first. So with that, we're going to fight some zombies! Also, so here's the thing about Holmes' route. I hope you like this song! This song plays for nearly every single chapter for Holmes' route at this point in the game. Until Holmes and Rune reunite, you're gonna get used to this song because you'll be hearing it every single Holmes chapter. Or at least most of them. I guess there's 2 Entombed here, so that's kind of cool, but there are swamps and lots of frontier terrain, so cavalry have a bad time here. But this is where I'm going to be trying to train Christ a little bit. Not really Arcus though. Zeno could use a little bit of experience as well. Sasha doesn't exactly need it, but I suppose she could come too. You know what, let's get Martel in on the action a little bit, and oh, Uni doesn't really need to be here either, so I suppose I can bring Vega. So, let's battle! Wait, what? Christ spawns down there? I did not know it was possible for people to spawn down there, that's interesting. So, the people who start out in the swamps, if you bring Tom and he starts out in a swamp, he's stuck there forever, like for the rest of the map, because he can't move. In swamps, his movement cost is too great, and also Christ needs to dismount to cross frontier terrain, which is really annoying, but what can you do? This is why flyers are pretty useful to have on these maps. I think I'll lure 1 zombie. Holmes is actually already decently strong, he doesn't really need to fight too many enemies here. Catry, though, getting stuck in a swamp is bad, and I'm just gonna let Shigen sit in the swamp for a little while. Just gonna leave him there for a little bit. And then I'm gonna leave 1 zombie alive. Also, Holmes' party has a different battle theme, which is great. I think in Echoes, they actually gave Alm and Celica very slight variations on the main battle theme, I think, although I could be wrong about that. I know there's a different battle theme for the final chapter. But of course, I do know that in Radiant Dawn, they did give unique battle themes for every different party. I still love the party system in Radiant Dawn. It's just... Radiant Dawn is... I mean, I wouldn't say it's underrated because a lot of people like it more now than they used to, but Radiant Dawn might even actually be my real favourite Fire Emblem now. It used to be Genealogy, but now it's Radiant Dawn. Foot soldiers can move pretty decently over frontier terrain. In fact, can I just check something here? Yeah, they have movement cost of 1 on frontier. Dismounted cavalry, though, have a movement cost of 2. I don't think I've actually seen dismounted cavalry's fight before. They look pretty cool. Oh, and here's Holmes' actual battle theme for the first time. You'll be hearing this a lot later, trust me. Entombed are really easy for pretty much anyone to kill, and they give good experience, so Holmes' route is a great way to train lower-level characters, like Christ, who I'd very much like to get promoted at some point, though he's definitely not my first choice for Knight Crests. There's somebody else on Holmes' route that I want to use a Knight's Crest on, so I might save the one that I currently have for them. Let's see if I can get Xeno a level up off of this guy. There we go. Strength is good. Defense is good too, wow. And Christ ended the map before I could show something that I wanted to show. So if we move here, the zombies spawn in the swamp again. So you can just repeat these to grind as much experience as you want on Holmes' route. Oh no! I forgot to heal Shigen! Merciful Miladonna! They killed Shigen! Those dastards! Wait a minute! So, that's Shigen? Shigen is immortal. As long as he has this sword. Stat-wise, Shigen is very similar to Vega, a Myrmidon with good strength, but no less skill and speed than you'd expect from the class. Where he lacks in Vega's surprising tankiness, he makes up for by, well, you just saw it, being literally unable to die. Even if he runs out of health without Dullahan equipped, he still doesn't die, though you will lose him until chapter 24, so try and avoid that happening. Well, what I said isn't entirely true, but I'll get to that much later. For now, Shigen is a great combat unit that you can afford to be less cautious with. And speaking of Vega, he has a mutual 10% support with him if you trigger a certain event that's coming up. And his other supports are great too, especially Holmes, who he'll always be fighting alongside. If Shigen has any weaknesses, it's that Dullahan is a bit heavy and inaccurate, and also he doesn't learn his best skills until quite late, those being Draco and Vantage, but it's not like he really needs them to be good early on. And now he'll just finish off this zombie. So yeah, that was a bit of a waste of a use of the Dullahan, but I just wanted to show that at least once because... So, I'm gonna try and just, I'm going to be a little bit less cautious than I usually am with most of my characters in these kinds of games with Shigen, and I want to try and see how many hilarious ways I can get him killed. Because it's always... One of the fun parts of TearRing Saga to me is finding more and more creative ways to kill Shigen. And I'm sure he's, fine with that. He's probably died so many times at this point that he's learned to have a good sense of humor about his frequent deaths, much like a certain Fae cat in Critical Role. Don't worry about those bandits moving around the map. They won't destroy any villages or anything. It's just that if they do move into an area that you're occupying, for example, if I do move, the bandits might actually get the drop on us in that village. So I guess I'll save before I do anything else there, but then we'll head to the mainland and go after the source of those bandits. I thought for the rest of this part, I wouldn't be focusing so much on the chapters. I think I'm going to focus on what we can do on the world map right now. And see a few story events. There's actually a little bit of non-linearity, at least at this point with Holmes. I mean, there is in general, but this point specifically because, as I mentioned, Chapter 11 is completely optional. And you're free to explore Welt and trigger a few events, and do Chapters 12 and 11 in any order. So this right here is an event that requires Xeno to be on Holmes' route, obviously. You can technically put him on Runan's route, but I prefer him here for the events. None of the events with him here give any, like, decent gameplay benefit, I think, except for maybe this one increases his support with Catry slightly. He does have a support with Catry, as you can probably tell. You know, I actually forgot that even Xeno got a backstory. Someone ending up in an abusive situation and, resenting their parents for abandoning them into that fate reminds me a lot of a certain character in Trails in the Sky. How do you know that? Well, people can be nice and have bad parents. I mean, that doesn't immediately affect it. I mean, upbringing does play something of a part, but again, at the same time, you know, people can grow up to be nice without having good parents. So, just a nice event and some backstory. And are we about to get attacked by bandits right after that? Yes, we are! How dare you ruin the Moog bandits, for that you will pay! So, this is our first, well, I mean, our first skirmish was the zombies, but, I guess this is our first skirmish on a map that we've previously been on. As you can see here, yeah, we've been here a few times, so I probably won't really show all of this, but, I guess we can deploy up to 8 people here. And maybe I can put Marouge in, considering that everyone else here is decently leveled. And yeah, unlike in some of the later Fire Emblems with skirmishes, you can't drop the main characters even for skirmishes. Oh, okay, we're starting scattered a little bit. Thing is though, bandits only have 4 movements, so we probably aren't in that much danger. Oh, there's a mage amongst them. I guess bandits do sometimes have mages in their employ in Fire Emblem games, which this totally isn't. Because, I mean, I don't really care that much about the experience of this map, so you know what? What the heck? Let's transform Catry. You still get that music and that dramatic transformation sequence every time. Of course, the bandits aren't even going to try and attack her because they can't do any damage. I didn't actually explain this earlier, but Dragon Skin gives 40 defense and resistance, so, oh, and she can't be criticaled either. So she is effectively invincible. She has 50 defense. While we're doing skirmishes, I'm going to set the movement speed to fast and just see how that goes. Yeah, we move on the map a lot faster now, and, more importantly, so do enemies. I don't know if we've even seen Holmes fight at this point. He starts out with a longbow, which is helpful with its 3 range. Of course, we've seen this sprite before, even though I never expected to. You can't target empty spaces with Fierce Breath, otherwise I target the space between them and hit both. So she only has 11 attack with the regular breath, but she can double with it. And I think she actually will against this guy, and that will do enough to get rid of him. Yeah, 3, -3. Also, I haven't actually shown this before, since she was an NPC before, but holy crap, dragon sprites are terrifying in this game. I mean, I think they look pretty cool, but, like, these are some of the most terrifying looking dragons I've seen in any piece of media. I mean, there are probably, you know, more dragons in more, like, horror settings that look, but For 2D sprites, dragons look really creepy in this game. Oh crap, I didn't notice that guy had a halberd, and that means I lost a miracle charm, so I'm going to need to reset, because I need that. And I actually don't need either of these for a while, so this time I'm putting both of them in the convoy. And I can use this skirmish as an opportunity to teach the Canto skill to Roger, because there really isn't many other people who I want to use it on who don't get it already. Wow, Vega's actually ready to be promoted already, which is going to be pretty helpful in the coming next few chapters, if I can get a Hero's Crest by then. I think we actually do get one somewhat soon. You do get a lot of Hero Crests on Holmes' route. Okay, so those bandits are gone. While they're out, I kind of want to advance to Graham Forest and head to the Mars Shrine. However, there are going to be some events in Graham Forest too. Oh, I think I know what this one is. Okay, actually kind of younger than I expected him to be. So Shigen's older than that, okay. But considering JRPG land, I'm guessing Shigen's only like 18. Shigen is yet another person who has ties to the cult of Gurzel. Yeah, I was kind of getting at this earlier, but I think Holmes is about to say a very mimetic line. There we go, there it is! Among people who played this game, that line is just, yeah, that's classic Holmes. Thing is, Holmes has, as Shigen is pointing out, very good reasons to be like that, because Holmes really does not like his father. Admiral Vals might have helped against the Empire, but he is not exactly a great paragon of humanity. You'll see more stories about him as we go on. So many people with missing parents in Holmes' group. Okay, the pirates didn't move and more bandits didn't spawn. I think every time you move on the world map, there's a chance of bandits spawning from Taurus Caves. And I get the feeling that we're going to have to deal with more if we want to go back there. But first, I want to stop over at the Temple of Mars. Because if you have Mel and or Marouge in your party, you'll get some special events here. So yes, Mel is the daughter of Sylphus, and by extension, that makes her Marouge's sister. They have a conversation in Chapter 6, I wasn't able to get that one. And yeah, at first I was thinking, oh, this conversation only happens if Roger is here, but no, if Mel is here, Roger will be here. There's no way they can't both be in the same party, as I explained in the route split. They actually work a lot like Pent and Louise in FE7. From what I've heard, if one of them dies, the other leaves your army. So yeah, it turns out that the clergy were surprisingly okay with letting Mel marry. But this is the main reason why you want Mel to be in Holmes' group, because you get this staff. Oh boy, it's powerful, alright. It's intended to be a defense against magic attacks, but here's the thing, because magic and resistance are the same stat in this game, it also increases the power of the user's magic, including things like Levin Swords. Plus 7 magic for an entire chapter is kind of crazy on magic users, and later on, we'll be getting a character in Holmes' party who really benefits from this. We get the Ensorcel staff, and another event is starting, because I also brought Marouge here. Yeah, he's actually separated from Enter if you choose him for this route. Things are a little bit different. He actually does get a conversation with Enter on Rudin's routes. So it kind of lets you choose his fate in a little bit of a way. I think it is implied that Marouge may have feelings for Enter. But they are pretty one-sided. Two copies, huh? There actually is a second one of these that you can get, so I'm guessing that that second one is his father's, or formerly belonged to his father. That gets you the Sylphid spell. As I mentioned earlier, you can get Sylphid in other ways, but Sylphid is so good that I definitely like having access to that here, though I'm pretty sure no one will really be able to use it right now. Oh, wait, no, he can. It's only Mastery 7, which he has. Okay then. So yeah, it is very powerful, not that heavy, and it can't be countered. You do want to save it though for a bit later on in the game, but it's got 47 uses and we do get a second one later on. I might actually be able to use this with him a little bit. I'm going to go back to Graham Forest for a second, and that's annoying because there's another event at Welt Bridge that I might want to see, and also at Welt Castle. The question is, do I go there now, or do I stop over there on the way to the next chapter? Honestly, I feel like I want to do that, because once we go to, I'm gonna go over here. Oh yeah, more bandits, I thought so. Once we go to Verge, and we have Christ and Arcus in Holmes' party, we will be beginning the infamous Latina events. So, something that I want to confess here about the Latina event. I did not do this in my test playthrough. And also, in the early fan translation, the first one that I played, most of the Latina event was not even translated at all. It was just blank text boxes. I intentionally saved the Latina event for when I would record this game with the real translation patch, so I'm actually going to be blind on a lot of these scenes. I've never actually seen these, badly translated or no. This one, though, I'm pretty sure was in the original translation patch. If you chose Ezekiel at Verge when you first got there, I think you actually might have met this character earlier. Because you get a scene with Ezekiel's wife, and you might also see her. She has ties to Ezekiel, let's just say. Okay, no, yeah, she only has one E in her name in this version, unless that's a typo. I'm used to her having 2 E's, well, 3 E's. A double E at one point and also a single E. This is just giving me Chrono Trigger vibes now. Hopefully there isn't an evil Chancellor who will use it against him in Christ's trial. I mean, Coda might have, but Coda's gone now. He's rotting in a jail cell. So, yeah, Latina is actually blind. And it does actually bring up some interesting and important issues. Oftentimes, people can be unintentionally condescending towards people with disabilities. So that's all we get for now, but the next, we'll need to visit Verge again after we complete Chapter 13. That was part 1 of the Latina event. After Chapter 13 will be part 2. This time, we actually will get the drop on the bandits, but I'm going to show most of this off-screen because it's just another skirmish. This is a big map. I really hope that we'll start close to the enemies. Okay, yeah, we're only in a very tiny slice of this map, so we definitely will start closer. Christ can promote too, and I do have a Knight Crest for him, but I might want to save that one. You know, technically I just realized I'm probably going to get the most immediate benefit if I use the Knight Crest on Christ now. I'll be getting another one. Actually, I think I will be getting another one before the other character I want to use it on joins. So yeah, let's go ahead and promote Christ now. I am mostly doing this for the Latina events, but it is going to help out a little bit. Especially in the next map, which is indoors, and this will mean Christ will be able to use lances indoors. He's not the best, but he's serviceable. And Holmes' overall stats are really solid. Get used to Holmes saying that, by the way, that's how he ends every skirmish. And before I move on, I kind of want to do something. Okay, good, nothing spawned. Now, does this armory sell... Is this the one that sells steel swords, or is that Verge? Oh, no, it's Verge that sells steel swords. Oh, that's going to run the risk of more bandits spawning. I should have picked picked up my steel swords back there. Okay, good, no bandits spawned. Because I want to buy a few more steel swords for my Myrmidons, so they don't always have to use their, and my mercenaries, so they don't always have to use their powerful legendary weapons. Guess Holmes can take that wooden bow. And I like giving him the wing potion for some weird reason, just so that he can potentially double things with crossbows later. Oh, we have exactly enough for one more steel sword. There we go, we are exactly broke. What a good time to raid a bandit's treasury. Please don't spawn more. Okay, good. Now, when we move into Taurus Caves, we'll begin Chapter 11, the first optional chapter in the game. That will be what we do next time, so I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Holmes' party and his gameplay. See you next time for Holmes' first real chapter.